That is the last you'll see of fresh chicken for a while, with Malaysia's export ban kicking in on June 1st. A warning from Singapore's Deputy PM, ordinary investors should steer clear of cryptocurrencies. And VALENCIA sacked its president after leaked recordings of him are released. Good evening, you're watching The Big Story with me, Hairianto Diman. Subscribe to the Straits Times channel so you will not miss a single episode. Well, today is the last chance for shoppers to buy fresh chicken from Malaysia before the country's export ban kicks in tomorrow. At wet markets this morning, some people bought more chicken than usual, while others said they're happy to switch to frozen chicken or other meats. Stallholders also taking the upcoming ban in stride, telling the Straits Times they'll be taking a short break from work until the ban is lifted. Over at supermarkets, the shelves look to be well stocked with fresh chicken. Shoppers we spoke to are not overly concerned about the ban, with some saying they will simply eat less chicken in the coming weeks. Malaysia will halt exports for a month until prices and production in the country stabilize. Deputy Prime Minister Heng Keat has issued a strong warning on cryptocurrencies, saying ordinary investors and individuals should not dabble in these highly risky digital assets, which are gaining in popularity worldwide.
The Monetary Authority of Singapore, or MAS, has consistently warned the public against trading in cryptocurrencies and has taken steps to limit promotion of cryptocurrencies to the general public earlier this year. Many investors suffered losses and even lost their life savings in the recent meltdown of Terra USD and Luna, which triggered knock-on effects on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Retail investors especially should steer clear of cryptocurrencies. We cannot emphasize this enough.
Mr. Heng was speaking at the Asia Tech X Singapore Summit, and that's where our tech correspondent Ray Kurohi is. Ray, while Mr. Heng says a layperson, or what he calls a retail investor, should steer clear of cryptocurrencies, he's not advising against investing in crypto assets, right?
So I think Mr. Heng is quite clear on what Singapore's stance is as far as everyday investors who are interested in cryptocurrencies and crypto assets like NFTs, primarily to make money. So his message is it's not recommended because the risk is simply too great. When he's talking about keeping an open mind on such technology, he's really talking about the underlying innovations behind these technologies. So blockchain, asset fractionalization, smart contracts, and so on. And these are what he says have great potential to disrupt and transform the finance sector as a whole. So I believe Mr. Heng's position is essentially that if you're a casual investor who wants to make a quick buck or buy crypto as a store of wealth, don't do it. But if you're a fintech company and you want to try and explore new applications of this technology, maybe even within the traditional banking sector, then you'd be more than welcome to set up shop here in Singapore as long as you comply with the regulations. And that's what the authorities want to encourage: investment in technology and innovation rather than the specific crypto assets or the crypto market in and of itself.
What impact would Mr. Heng's remarks have on Singapore's crypto market?
So I don't think it's going to make too many waves in the market. His stance is not exactly a departure from what MAS has said previously. He did mention a few ongoing projects in areas like cross-border payments and a new effort called Project Guardian, which is going to explore tokenization of financial assets. So our colleague Wan Shen has more details on that in the story, but essentially the overall stance is really not new. Senior Minister Tharman, who is actually the chairman of the MAS, he's made similar remarks in the past. And the MAS has always urged caution on crypto when it comes to retail investors. If you look at earlier this year, the crypto trading providers, they've not been allowed to market themselves to retail investors since January.
Ray Kurohi there, tech correspondent for the Straits Times. Thanks, Ray. Spanish football side Valencia have sacked former Singapore diplomat Anil Murthy as club president over the publication of leaked audio this month, in which he discussed sensitive topics with local businessmen. published by newspaper Super Deporte. The recordings also include him allegedly disparaging Valencia's owner Peter Lim and belittling the cities of Liverpool and Newcastle. While Valencia are now saying Mr. Murty's remarks damaged the club's reputation, they initially released a statement criticizing the leaked audio clip. On the same day, Mr. Murty also responded, calling the leak a campaign to smear Valencia CF.
Estoy aquí para aclarar las cosas porque no tengo nada a esconder. Estamos en una situación surrealista, en un momento de la temporada que todos tenemos que centrarnos en un último partido contra el Celta. Estas cosas salen sin duda relacionados con este movimiento organizado para hacer daño al club, hacer daño al equipo, hacer daño a todos en el último partido el sábado. Hace meses empezó una campaña de desprestigio en contra del Valencia. Es algo muy evidente. Este periódico hace tiempo que no es una referencia en el Valencia y comenzaron una campaña deshonesta, interesada, después de que el club se negara a pagarles decenas de miles de euros para que pudieran subsistir económicamente. Estoy muy sorprendido y más decepcionado. No hay códigos, no hay límites. Es desagradable que a cualquier persona se graben sin su consentimiento en una situación privada. Fue una comida privada para hablar de una noche que va a ser una noche bonita. Es una conversación normal. Es verdad que en tono distendido, pero como todo el mundo puede comprobar, no hay ningún ataque ni descalificación hacia nadie.
With more is sports correspondent Sazali Abdul Aziz. Sazali, should Mr. Murty have been sacked over this?
Well, that's not necessarily a question for me. It's one for Peter Lim and the board. And for them, it's pretty clear that the answer is yes, he should. For context, the audio recordings were taken from a meal Anil had with Valencian businessmen on April 27 and was later reported by Valencia-based online news portal Super Deportes. He was recorded making disparaging remarks about Peter and about the cities of Liverpool and Newcastle, and also appeared to threaten the club's star players if they threatened the move. What is intriguing is that the club's initial response was to criticize the league, accusing the newspaper of a serious lack of professional ethics and saying the clip was edited and taken out of context. The club also said it was part of a smear campaign by Super Deportes against the club. Having said that, Anil did utter the words he did, and regardless of whatever context they were made in, removing him from the position seems to be a fair decision made by the club, who also moved to disassociate themselves from the statements.
What were Valencia's biggest successes and failures under Anil Murty, and what would his exit mean for the club?
Well, Anil was appointed president in July 2017, and despite his background as a diplomat failed to strike a chord with the local supporters. Things went sour in September 2019 after the sacking of popular coach Marcelino, which was later followed by the departures of Captain Dani Parejo and Francis Coquelin to Villarreal, where they went on to win the Europa League. The pandemic and the new reality of financial constraints faced by many European clubs have also been challenging for Valencia. And the fans have not taken kindly to the owner's level of investments or lack of. In mass emails to media outlets and on social media, supporters have also accused Anil as well as the club's general ownership of not caring about what they want. Some go so far as to claim they are trying to destroy the club and are enjoying the club's underperformance, which frankly to me does not make sense. Anyhow, Anil's exit, as expected, has been cheered by the local supporters, although a few of them say ultimately what they want is for the Singaporean ownership to leave the club completely. Whether the new guy in the interim, Sean Bai, can repair some of these strained relationships, only time will tell.
Sazali, thank you for the insights. Sports correspondent Sazali Abdul Aziz. In other news, the Shanghai authorities are dismantling fences around housing compounds and ripping police tape off public squares and buildings as a 2-month lockdown will be lifted at midnight. But this easing of curbs only applies to those who live in low-risk areas. They will still need to wear masks and are discouraged from gathering. Dining inside restaurants remains banned and shops can operate at 75% capacity, among other things. European Union leaders have agreed to immediately block more than two-thirds of Russian oil imports, which will only affect oil that arrives by sea and not pipeline oil. It's expected to tighten a global crude market that's already facing supply constraints amid post-pandemic demand recovery. Russia currently supplies 27% of the EU's imported oil and 40% of its gas. In return, the bloc pays Russia around 400 billion euros a year. And those are our top stories for today. Visit straitstimes.com for more news and our YouTube channel for more videos. Subscribe by hitting the red button below. I'm Haryanto Diman. See you tomorrow for more stories on The Big Story.